Awesome. What's up, guys? Coach Hill, I'm the running backs coach at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Just recently got on staff there March or April. Be coaching the running backs this year. Really excited about that. Excited to be part of a great program. But for the past 4 years, I spent time at Carroll University in Waukesha, Wisconsin. So today I'm going to talk about kind of teaching outside zone the way we did it at Carroll for a couple years. I'm not going to have any Whitewater films. I know it's probably going to disappoint some people. And just talk about the way that we taught our running backs. I thought that we did some really, really cool things when I was at Carroll, 2018, outside zone, wide zone, whatever you want to call it. We averaged 5.5 yards a carry on it. We had two really, really special running backs and a quarterback that was pretty special when he had the ball in his hand. And I thought we did some really great things, the way we formationed it, the way we were able to get into and out of some outside zones, the open side, closed side. Our offensive coordinator at the time, Tony Aker, did a really nice job meshing it all together. And so I'm just going to kind of talk about the way we taught our running backs. It's very, very, very Alex Gibbs style. I just copied everything that he did and tried to mesh it into our stuff. But that's why I got TD on the cover there, because I think the godfather running back of the wide zone. So let's first kind of get into just talking about just some of instead of getting into all the schematics and talking about breaking down the offensive line and all that kind of stuff. Zone pass by our offensive line, we want to open our shoulders, we want to drop our first step, create hips, and run. We wanted to create double teams wherever we could up front. We wanted our uncovered linemen to overtake our covered linemen. That's really their goal. So if the front side guard is covered and the center's uncovered and he's going to double team, we wanted those guys to get out and run and really just try to overtake the three tech and try to get there to create angles and flow. We wanted to cut down the backside of the defense. So if we had a three tech, we were going to auto cut him with the backside tackle. We wanted to cut the backside will or the backside one. -1. We also wanted to cut the backside one technique. When I show the film, it doesn't always happen, but that's really the idea, because we wanted to create splits in the box. The running back's aiming point was in-man on the line of scrimmage. One of the ways I thought that was really cool that we judged our path of our backs is we would pause the film after the snap to see where their shoulders were going to be. We were a very big pistol team. I think outside zone out of pistol is amazing. But when his shoulders were pointed at the end man line scrimmage, we could probably predict that we were going to have a pretty dang good football play. And a good football play, when you run the football 4 to 5 yards, good football play. But then we wanted to create the stretch and the splits. And I think, as we kind of talk about the shoulders and the hips with the pass, it's going to be really, really important. In teaching your running backs, especially when you're in the pistol. In the gun, it's a little bit harder. He's got to open his hips and get through the mesh point. But you can still see his shoulders really need to turn and then start to get downhill at his path, because I think a lot of times from the gun, most backs have a tendency to stay really flat in outside zone. But really what you want to do is you want to get flat through that mesh point and then start attacking your aiming point downhill. On a 45-degree angle, whatever you want to talk about it, to make sure that the back doesn't make his first cut 3 yards deep in the backfield. I think that's really important for a lot of guys that want to run outside zone from the gun, is to make sure that once your back gets through that mesh point, he needs to start to get downhill at the offensive line. And so we'll see some of that in some of the film. But, this is just a good example from this picture, creating that flow, creating the splits, but you can see paused here. This is a good picture. Our back's path, his hips and his shoulders are pointed. I always used to say, does he match our offensive line? Are his shoulders pretty equivalent to what our offensive line's trying to do? And here in this picture, it's a really, really good picture for our running back. So we think this is going to be a pretty good play. But one of the things to make sure as you are teaching flow and you're teaching your running backs is that this play, even though it's called outside zone, I think that's why a lot of people call it wide zone, is this play is going to hit in the expanded A or frontside B gap. And that can get expanded 5 to 6 yards from where it originally started. It's still that A or B gap as the line moves, but it's just going to be expanded. And so with our shoulders, with our hips, with our path, that's going to expand that B gap and get that backer flow to get going. So what I like to talk about at the beginning is just talking about creating that path, creating that flow, and then seeing through your keys where to hit that expanded gap at and then get vertical through it. And so I think those kind of things are going to be really important as you teach your running backs. And again, this play, there's a lot of intricate details. But really what you want to teach your backs to do is to trust their eyes first, then trust their gut. So everybody talks about a back having great instincts. Well, his eyes should be able to dictate and then what his initial read is, and then let his instincts take over and let him go be a ball player. And so we'll kind of talk about how to trust your eyes first and then let your instincts take over and just be a natural back after that. So I got some clips here. The first couple of clips are really going to be about our running back shoulders, our running back path, and how we're trying to, so what I like to talk about is set the hook. So we want to set the hook on linebackers with our path. I think it's super important in zone to tell your running backs that their jobs really is to set the hook on the double team for their offensive line. They need to bring the linebackers to the double team for their offensive line, because their offensive line is on kind of a set path in zone, whether it's inside zone and you're getting them vertical or wide zone and you're getting them out of 45 degrees. Those guys are trying to stay on that track, and they don't want to get off that track. So our back needs to do a great job of bringing those linebackers to them. And so that's going to be really important. So as we watch these first couple of clips, we're going to be kind of backed up here, but you can see just off the start, the running back does a nice job with his shoulders. As I pause the film here, you can see we've got a really nice match between the offensive line and our running back. This is going to give us a really nice chance to set the hook on these two inside linebackers. Now we're getting an odd front, really expanded front side D end and things like that. We'll talk about the keys in a second, but you can just see the flow that the back gets here from the path from the two inside linebackers. And he does a really nice job. Now, the front side guard, his path, it looks like he's almost going to try to cut the guy down, but you can see, just based off this path, the flow that we're going to get and we're going to create from the linebackers and the backside safety. And I think this is just a really good example. And then again, staying away from that backside D end who we're not going to block. Now, the flow and the path is great. Again, getting and pressing that is going to be really, really important. And that flow just does a really nice job. Now, we don't do a great job here. I was the offensive line coach in this video, so I take full responsibility for the center and the guard there. But we don't get great blocks, but at least we have great initial start. So then just, again, another odd front here, just really focusing on the path. And I think it's a really good example when you show odd front when you're talking about running back flow and path and how you want to set the hook, because really in an odd front, the linebackers are really going to be fast flow. They're going to try to get and make plays and get into gaps. They're not going to slow play things. They're not going to let a D tackle, a 2-eye take on a guard. They're going to try to find gaps and hit gaps. So here's just another really good example of the back path and the flow that you're going to get from the front side from number 45 or number 8, the flow that you get to see, and then the angles that the center and the right guard, again, get because of that path. Again, you want the center to continue to go, and he's got a nice path going on there. But the back is really doing a nice job bringing that number 8, who is kind of a monster backer, probably playing at about 7 yards in this picture, just doing a nice job bringing him all the way to that expanded B gap to allow the center to get there, because really the center should be out leveraged. 8's already in the front side A gap. The center's really got to snap the ball. He's got to take pressure on from the nose, open up and run. The back can help him out with the path here, which he does. And the center really needs to do a better job of getting off and then going creating contact at the second level, because then the back's going to have a chance to get vertical on that, which is a nice job here. So after talking about back path and all those kind of things, you really need to talk about your running back keys. And I think this is what's important. When we were teaching it, our backs really had a really good idea of what we were trying to do. They had two keys. And so the first key is the last defensive lineman with his hand in the ground, all right, outside. So it's not the first D lineman inside, it's the last guy with his hand in the ground. And I think that's so important. We didn't want our guys reading stand-ups. 90% of the time, that stand-up is going to set the edge, right? He's not going to want to get reached. It's going to give you a cut, a vertical cut read every single time. And then the other 10%, he's going to be flowing in. He's going to be doing some sort of loop, some sort of game with that defensive end. So he's not a great read player. So we wanted to read that defensive end, that last player with his hand in the ground. But this first key, that read should happen through the mesh, right? So by the time he gets the football, he should really have a good idea of what that read key's doing, because it's just about movement. It's about where is his flow going. Does he want to not get reached? Is he going to fight the reach and not want to get reached? Or is he going to be inside and all of a sudden your offensive lineman reaches him right away and he's got a really nice hold on him? And so we want to read that through the mesh point. And then your second key, after your interior or your exterior key, your interior key is the play side interior key lineman, and that's to feel the flow. Press your aiming point, press your pass, feel the flow, and make the cut. So the way that we talked about this is your first key is your eyes. Your eyes are going to tell you what your first key's doing, and trust them. Trust what your eyes are telling you. Your second key is your gut, right? Now you feel the flow. Now you go be a great athlete. Now you go be the running back and the reason that we're giving you the football. And so those kind of things are really important for your keys is to give them that. Your first key is trusting your eyes. Trust your eyes. Trust your eyes. Your second key in your vertical cut, that's your gut. Go be a player now. Go feel the flow. Go be a player. And that it takes a lot of the kind of thinking out of it and just allows them to go out and feel it and play it. Now, we used to do some drills in practice to help our guys read this out. The running backs coach at Carroll, Coach Knox-Reaper, did a really nice job of teaching our guys that first initial read and what it feels like to feel it with your eyes through your mesh and then go be a ball player. It's hard to, you don't want to overcoach that second read, right? Because it's always easy when you're the running back coach to put the film on slow-mo and pause it and show them a cut and show them where they should have went with the ball. Hey, here's where you should have went. That's really, really easy. But you just really don't want to overcoach the second cut because you never know. You may have a kid who reads the first cut right. He feels the flow. He jump cuts back one more, and then he's out the backside for 40. And so letting them feel that second read out is really important. But just really on the second key, once they make that read, is really emphasizing that you have to get vertical through that. You have to get vertical. This should be a 4 to 5 yard play if we read it right from the running back perspective and we just get a helmet on a helmet up front. Right? This should be a nice 4 to 5 yard play just by getting vertical through a split that you've created because of your natural horizontal flow and then getting vertical through that split. And so those kind of things are really important. So first read with your eyes, it's all about initial movement on that defensive end. Read his flow. Does he not want to get reached? Does he want to get out and set the edge? If the defense if he doesn't want to get reached and he moves outside through the mesh, go ahead and get your eyes to your second read. And the natural tendency is then as you get through your path, it's now your eyes start to drift back, your shoulders start to drift back. And now your body naturally is going to start to square your shoulders and your hips up to the line of scrimmage, which will help you get to your vertical cut. If the DA gets reached right away, press your edge, right? Press your edge. I don't like to tell guys, man, run outside, right? Because you just got to press your edge. Press your edge if he gets reached, because again, we don't want to get horizontally flat. We wanted to get still 45 degrees and then get vertical through it. We wanted to get as north in this as fast as we could in this play, and really just create and get into the seams as fast as we could. So with our first read here, our first read is going to be that triangle, that defensive end out there. And then the second read is going to be that interior guy, those dots. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to read that defensive end right through the mesh point. So as we went through the mesh point, we wanted to read he's outside. Before the back even gets the ball, he should automatically know that he's going to get vertical here through a cut. He's going to get in that expanded B and A gap. Now his eyes need to go to his second read, and now he needs to just have that gut instinct of where he needs to go. So you can see as he gets and presses that thing, his eyes have already started to drift back to his second read because his first read has already told him exactly what he needs to know. Now his path, what I think is great about this visual, is I pause it right here. You guys can see that the safety number 12, he's going to flow outside with the back. So if we were really able to get to this vertical backside A-gap cut, we're going to have a pretty good football play. But the back here, he makes his initial read with his eyes. Now let his gut take over. You know, does he think he needs to get in that expanded B, or does he think he needs to get all the way back? So here he's just going to feel that flow out. They get initial reach, but there's still movement towards him. There's still so much flow, so he's going to try to get in that backside A-gap there. You can see the backside cut. This is why we wanted to chop the backside down. It's not a great cut, but what he does really tight to the center, we're going to say that defensive tackle isn't going to be able to make that play. Just a really good start for your initial read for your backs on his eyes keys and his gut keys. So as we go to the next clip here again, you know, you guys will be able to see this is the difference. We want to read the last guy with his hand in the ground and not that stand-up. That stand-up tells us that he's going to be a set-the-edge player. Don't read him, because then you're going to be trying to find your cut somewhere. Read the guy with his hand in the ground. Now, this is where it's really, really important to read his movement through the mesh. So the defensive end's first step is inside. He knows he's got outside help, but as soon as he reads that tackle's first step, you can see that he wants to get outside, right? But the offensive line is able to reach him right away and create a really nice, easy read for the offensive lineman or the back. So through the mesh point, the back sees, okay, he steps inside and gets reached. I can now press my edge. Not that I'm going to run outside, but I want to press my edge, all right, because the cut is going to be either outside of the tackle or inside the tackle right now. That's where the cut is. It's not all the way back now, right? Because we've done a nice job on the offensive line here at the initial starting point of reaching this guy. Now the back's just going to press his edge, and then this is exactly why we want him to press his edge, because right now we want him to get vertical and go get vertical and go be able to be a ball player now. So it's a really good football play. You can see the left guard, all he needs to do is get the helmet on that linebacker and stop his initial flow. Bang, now we can get vertical. The back can go do some things and gets into some space. So this is just a really good example of reading that first key with your eyes. Eyes tells me he gets reached. Press your edge, press your edge, press your edge. Okay, I got it. Now go get vertical and go have some fun. Same thing here again. Now you can see, all right, when the back is in the gun here, it becomes a little bit more difficult because his path isn't as downhill. But at the same time, as he gets through the mesh, he needs to start bending that thing downhill at his tackle. It doesn't need to be drastic because the tackle is going to expand, but he needs to start to get downhill so he's not horizontal and parallel to the offensive line for too long. Again, we want him to make his cut as close to the line of scrimmage as we can make it. So here you can see, all right, defensive end's first step is in, but now the tackle through the mesh point, the back can see that defensive end is not going to get reached, okay? Now it's time to read my flow. Now it's time to read my flow. It's time to read put my gut instincts now, go put my foot in the ground. And again, it's hard to overcoach this second with the flow. Ideally, yeah, we'd love for him to stick his foot in the ground and get vertical, right? Love for that to happen. But one of the things that I think this is a good example of is the back knows where he wants to go. He might be a little late getting there, but you can see that his path, as he gets through the mesh point, watch him start to get downhill now. Now he knows, he can put that left foot in the ground and he can really get going vertical backwards if he wants to jump cut that thing. But his path and his flow brings that linebacker right into that guard. The guard doesn't have to make a great block. He just needs to be on his path, and then the back is going to set the hook for him. All right, the back is going to set the hook, and then we do a nice job here. Now, to pause for a second and say that there's a couple examples in this where, we were a big RPO team at Carroll. Our offensive coordinator, Tony Aker, did a great job setting up our RPO game. But what we'd like to do is we'd like to take our super back, our full back, outside zone. We'd like to take him and insert him on the backside will. Still giving us a 6-for-6 box, still allowing us to block all 6 players, but still reading an alley defender. So we could be in a 2-by-2 formation with a sniffer, and we could bring the sniffer all the way to the backside will to the -1. And that still allowed us to create a nice split zone action while giving the backside defensive line a pass read or a base block read. So what we try to do is we try to take that initial flow read away from that defensive lineman, and that especially with a team that was going to give us a hard 2-eye, and they wanted to get into the guard right away. This is North Central, got a great defense, great defensive line, really, really disciplined, well-coached. Won a national championship last year because of how well-coached they are. But you can see what we try to do with that backside guard is give him a base block look, backside D and get a base block look, and then we were going to insert this front side sniffer backside. And this is beautiful by this backside sniffer here. He's going to let the center clear, and then he wants to get vertically through that backside A gap once the center clears with his shoulders as square as he can, knowing that the linebacker is going to flow to him, and then he's going to be able to make contact and steal that backside. It's just a great job. This is a great look. The back may be a little bit late on his cut, but he's exactly where we want him to be. He's one-on-one with the safety, right? He can't block everybody. The back has to be responsible for one. That's where he makes his money. And so this is a really nice job by everybody here. The back's initially going to get back to his second read. He's going to put his shoulder down through the safety. He's going to carry him for a really nice gain on first down. And so this is just a good overall play and a good overall look at our outside zone here, an RPO version of it, where we're going to go ahead and read that alley player or backside safety, and then insert that front side sniffer there to still give us a nice split zone action. You can see 98, he's really fighting into that guard. He's not looking to really run down the outside zone till later, which gives us an advantage. So just a really nice play design that I thought we took really good advantage of. So same thing here. So we're going to go right now. We're going to be outside zone. We're going to be reading 94 here. All right. Again, same type of thing. He's going to take that first initial step inside, knowing that he's got help outside. But that's why it's so important that your first key gets read through your mesh point. So by the time you get the football now, bang, the back knows, all right, we got a great reach here. We're in business now. We're in business here. This is a good football play. Really nice job here by the center, getting his backside arm through. Great job by the front side guard with his flow. Love to see him just run through that there. Backside, all right, this is going to be tough. You can cut your backside tackle split down if you want, and allow him to get there, open that thing, and throw the cut on his second step, and he's just got to throw that sucker parallel through that. But the guard does a really nice job here, knowing that they're double teaming all the way to the back behind them, that their double team backer is backside of them. So he doesn't need to be in a hurry to come off this thing. So he does a nice job holding on there and then letting that flow come to this. Why we love that front side guard. We don't want to cut to the front side. We just want him to go ahead and steal it. The 60's got a great look here. And then from the last clip you saw to this clip, now we're going to lead that sniffer. Now that sniffer's going to go lead on that alley player, and he's going to, again, create a nice steal here. So this is a good football play. But the back does a really nice job here. The back's a little late. All right, but he does a great job with his pass. He does a great job with his eyes. The right tackle does a great job getting his helmet placement and showing him exactly what he wants them to do. So now he's just going to run through that little gap. If we were able to get to 52 and hold 52 here, all right, we'd get vertical through that thing. But then again, but now this is where the back does his thing. He made his first read. Now go be a ball player and then get in there for 6 or 7. I'd like to say that this last part was all because of coaching from Coach Aker, myself, and Coach Knottreeve. But no, this is just an all-conference back doing all-conference things. But that's why we hand him the ball. So, but this is a really nice job here by the back of reading his first key and then not being in a hurry to get to the edge. I think that's what's really, really important about this clip is that he's got the ball. He's not in a hurry to get that way. He wants to press his edge and his path. He knows that the crease is there. Now he's just got to press it to set the hook on 52, which they did a nice job of. All right, the path that we were able to just kind of hook him near. All right, we're going to put our back one-on-one vertically with players who are tackling from a really bad angle. And 75's got a nice angle on that backside linebacker if he doesn't have to run into 60 here. So again, same type of thing. Now we are running to a closed side here at the tight end. So again, we want to get downhill. Here's our first read. We're going to read his initial movement because he's the last guy with his hand in the ground. We're not going to read him because we know that he's 90% of the time going to set the edge. And if he's not, then we know that this guy's going to give us a really clear read anyway. So here again, we do a nice job of that initial double start with the reach here. The back does a great job of pressing his edge. Right? Does a really nice job pressing his edge, but this is really what I wanted to show. It's not a great clip from our offensive line, but what it is it shows just how exactly why we read it the way we do through the mesh point for our running backs is because you can see that if we're reading to initially, he's already told us what's going on. But now really 94, that defensive end, he's the clear read because that's what we're trying to do. This is a really nice job overall of a clear read and from our running back perspective. Of now, the read is very clear, and now he wants to just press that edge, right? Now, we don't do a great job of finishing the defensive end off, but again, the back just presses that edge. And one of the things we wanted to talk to our running backs about is when you make a decision, running through that decision at 100 miles an hour because we want the cage of the defender to try to tackle your butt. Because that means he's trying to tackle you with his front arm and his bicep. So we're going to say that your squat max is more than his curl max, and you can run through your decision with speed and put his cage on your butt and run through that initial arm tackle to create yards that maybe weren't there. Again, so this kid's an all-conference back. He does some things that really made all of us on our offensive staff look very small at times. So just a really good job of reading his keys out, trusting his eyes, pressing his path, and doing a nice job with that. Now we get to that second read, which is trusting that gut. So you made your first read. It doesn't give you the edge. Now your eye's going to move to the interior D lineman. Read and feel the flow for where the cut's going to be. But you want to press the line of scrimmage. You really get one life in the backfield, one cut in the backfield, and you don't want to use it early. You want to press your line of scrimmage as much as you can before making that cut. And then again, understanding that the A and the B gap are going to be expanded, but that's still where you want to make your cut. And so as we get into some of these other clips here, all right, really doing a nice job. So here's our initial read. Now, again, this is going to be that tendency breaker. Well, this should be your initial, but game planning wise, we knew every once in a while they were going to stand these two guys up because they were their pass rushers. But we knew that was the overhang, and we were still going to read him because we still considered him a true D end. So here now you can see, all right, that flow out here now, again, doing a nice job of leading that thing again. Now he's going to read and feel that expansion through he's going to press that edge. We get the reach, but now he's going to press that edge and he's thinking, all right, I'm not going to get there. Now I got to feel the flow. Well, he feels the flow that the D tackle's been reached. He can get his eyes back, and now he wants to try to get vertical into that space. And he does a really nice job getting all the way back to this little cutback right here. It's not a great play, but it's a great read by the running back to get positive yards on this play. And I think that's really important because, you know, initially we don't get to do a great job of stalling one. One's able to really expand us and get inside of us. And it's a nice job by the back of feeling the flow and trusting his gut to the second cut. Now, this one is going to be a fun one here. So here's our initial read. Here's our secondary read. This team gives us a ton of movement, a ton of interior movement, a ton of outside movement. So this is really where the back that feel that flow. It's hard to give them a great read. But here, the initial read goes inside. So now he's going to press that edge. But now he's got to feel that flow, and he feels all that flow coming over the top, and he tries to get back over. So this is where, again, just trust your eyes now. And now, once you get to that edge, now it's time to go get vertical, right? Now it's time to go get vertical. That's where the gut starts to take over. Don't overthink it now, right? Your eyes tell you to press your edge. Now your gut tells you, just run, baby. Just run and go. You've gotten to where you need to go. There's no really other path. Now you got to go. But now he starts to kind of overthink it. He feels some flow. He's not quite sure where to go. And so he's going to try to make a cutback here, maybe where he could have just gotten vertical through that thing and just let his instincts now and his gut just go take over now that he's there. And so really just getting to that point now, you know, you feel, you know, you read your first read through with your eyes. Now your gut takes over where to get, and then get vertical. We can't have a lot of side-to-side movement. You know, I think the great contrast between inside zone and outside zone is inside zone. You can really get in your line of scrimmage, almost pause your feet. Great running back, Le'Veon Bell in zone, stops his feet, jump cuts into another hole and gets vertical. Well, with outside zone or wide zone, you really have to press your line of scrimmage, stick your foot in the ground, and get vertical. You can't really stop your feet. No gallop steps, as Coach Aker used to call it. It's really, you got to stick that foot in the ground, and you've got to get vertical to create yards. And so this is going to be an outside zone play going to the left of the offense here. It's going to be a quarterback run. But I think this is a great job of what happens when you get vertical through your cut. And I think this is really, really important. So we're going to set it up scheme-wise. We're going to remove the back to the left to get some expansion. Then what we're going to do is the quarterback snaps a little off, but the quarterback's going to press his aiming point, right? He sees, it's quite obvious here that he can read both 97 and 94 at the same time, right? So much flow. Now he's going to read it. Now go get vertical and now just trust it and run. Right? Because once you get vertical, you can really start to set the hook for your double teams. You can see the center's going to be able to get there and set the hook. And then even when 8 redirects, he's not going to have enough time. He's still got to kind of fight over the top of the center. You can see, again, we're going to cut the backside down. We get him on the ground. He gets vertical, and then we're out running into some space. This is just a really nice job overall. First read, show some expansion. Second read, feel the flow. Get vertical through the cut, set the hook, and burst into the second level. So this is just a really, really nice job all around. Good football play. And just a great job by the ball carrier, making everybody right, getting vertical and getting into some space. Same type of thing here. Now, again, this kid is a stand-up, but game plan-wise, we knew he was a true DN, so we're still going to call him the initial read. Here's your second read. Now, for scheme-wise, so you guys see as the clip goes, during this game, we decided to do some interior D-tackle reading, so you're going to see the guard expand and outside release. He's going to go back and block the DN, so we're going to read this initial 1, 2-eye, whatever you want to call him. We elongated our backside split here to really kind of give it a clean read, but I really wanted to show you what the back and how the back is going to press that aiming point and really be able to read his flow here and his initial first key. So T61 expand. The D-tackle tries to expand into him. Linebacker takes the bait. Don't know if this is a blitz or not, but he takes the bait into the A-gap. Center does a nice job peeling off of that. Guard does a nice job opening and running and getting there. So initial flow tells the back, all right, I'm going to make that cut up. Now, he's not in a hurry now, you guys can see, to make that second cut because the guard's got him. The guard does a really nice job here. Guard's got him. Now go press your tackle in that expanded gap, and then once you make that decision, go get vertical, right? Go get vertical, and then again, make guys tackle your butt. Make guys tackle your squat max instead of trying to give them, squaring guys up and give them a 1-2 or anything like that. The best juke move for a running back when he gets in the second and third level is just run. Just run with speed and then go find the end zone. And so this is a really nice job of that example of getting vertical and good things happen when you start running towards the end zone with a lot of speed. And so just a really nice job. I do think we caught him here. I do think this was a blitz by that backside Will, Mike, whatever you want to call him, because he's play side. But a really nice job by expansion here by everybody. And then a really nice job by the back finishing vertical. Same type of thing here. All right, we're going to go left. You can see some initial flow. So, again, we don't want to read him. We were calling him the defensive end, even though he's a stand-up. So you can see here, initial reach, great job on our first read. Second read all the way to the backside. Center gets a nice job, and now the back's going to go get vertical. Nice job. Get through that thing, and once you get vertical, now it's your job as the running back to go make everybody else right and to make everybody else look smart. Now, I coach at the Division III level. I don't give out scholarships and stuff like that, but I heard Jimbo Fisher one time talking about that this is where they tell their running backs, this is where you earn your scholarship. That's where I tell my guys, this is where you earn that financial aid package and the T-shirts and shorts that we give you, and all the free fun that you get to do hanging out with me, right? So go make this guy wrong. Go make him look dumb, and go get some for you and end up in a highlight film. So this is a really nice job by the back. This is a good defensive back in the CCIW league, which is a great league. In the back, so go get vertical on him, give him a little jump cut, a stiff arm, and then get to second level. But again, if he's hesitant to get vertical at all, if he starts to pitter-patter his feet for too long, really he's not going to be able to do this. But again, I think, if you want to really overcoach it, right, you want to really be detailed about it. This is also why we talk about we don't want to have too many gallop steps when we make our vertical cut. We want to really stick our foot in the ground and get vertical as fast as we can. Because if you guys see your rush 25 is going to get a couple gallop steps there. Right now, his pass is going to bring him out there, force him to get a couple gallop steps. But if he's able to get that left foot in the ground right there and get vertical, right, he's probably able to get to his inside shoulder. And there's a lot of space towards to that C and that A right there. But again, he's going to take advantage of his one-on-one anyway. So this is just a good example of trying to get vertical and taking your guy on one-on-one. And then really, I think this is, again, one more good example of really getting vertical once you get that outside read. So once you get that outside read, you've got a nice job here. All right, now go get vertical and don't worry about trying to get too expanded. I think a lot of times an outside zone guys want to get all the way out here. No, go get vertical. Go get vertical. Go get vertical. All right, and then you can get into that space quicker and make DBs tackle you. Because that's really what we want. We want these DBs to tackle you. We want these guys, all right, to try to tackle your butt. And again, it's just a nice job. Maybe they'll hold it there in the slot, but hey, we'll take it. But just getting vertical there, you guys can see by him getting vertical, he's going to make that right tackle right, because the right tackle is going to end up on that outside, on that top side shoulder of the Mike linebacker. And by getting vertical, he makes him right and gets him in some space and does a really nice job right there. So those are things for us that really I thought we did a really, really good job of, especially 2018. We had some really special guys carrying the football. We had a senior offensive line, finished second in the CCIW in rushing that year. And the guys, the backs, really did a nice job of reading their first key, feeling their second key and getting vertical into space. Outside zone wasn't a negative yardage play for us at all that year because the guys did a great job getting vertical to make it positive. And if they could get vertical to make that positive, that was a win for us. Because then you can get into a manageable stat. Again, you keep on track, you keep moving forward. And so those kind of things are really exciting about our outside zone and our wide zone. I wish I had some clips of some drills, but I don't have those clips anymore. But again, I just think that our staff that year did a really nice job of setting outside zone up. Again, just a clip here. Back to get the quarterback in the wide zone and setting it up to make it look different, but keeping everything the same. And even though it looked different for some people, different guys carrying the ball, the keys stayed the same, and it really allowed us to have a lot of success with it. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer those. You guys can reach out to me at my Twitter. It's at @CoachHill_24. And again, as I learned about what we do at Whitewater, maybe next spring I'll come on and talk about what we do at Whitewater, but just give you guys a little bit of what we did at Carroll and what I thought really allowed us to be pretty successful. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me talk a little ball during the summer.